Alright, so it's Ryan. Day 67 again. Yeah, and like usual, I'm just on my roll today. Anyway, so I've got to tell I have to tell a funny, kind of. So if you watch my videos, usually I'm usually laughing when they start. It's for such a silly reason. My little webcam is set up that at the bottom it says recording in 3, 2, 1, and it says recording in progress. Every time I see that, I think of Wayne's World and the whole bit about when they get the big money and they're going to record, and now it's 3, 2, 1. I just laugh. So, am I always the crazy guy who's saving the world from itself? Usually. But I'm also the same guy that laughs at the same silly joke time and time again because it's funny. Well, at least to me it's funny. So anyway, we're supposed to be talking about thinking. Law 1, the law of thinking. So, I just thought and of course it's my favorite quote. I think I've used it about every single day since I heard it. 2% of people think, 3% of people think they think, and 95% of people would rather die than think. So, there's something, okay, but at the same time, this is probably the law I have the biggest problem with. Not with the law itself, with the explanation. Why? Let me tell you. Could I get to? Because they did what I would consider an act of desperation. They desperately wanted to tie the Bible in with this piece, and I think they used a bad quote. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. You're right. That is a very true quote. I believe it 100%. However, that's not the lesson. The law is talking about the thinking. The thinking. Thinking. That's the 2, 3, and 95%. So, if someone says, but it's two different things. Thinking in my heart and thinking in my head, that's two different things. Those are two different beliefs. That's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that, you know. First off, I think it compliments to the questioner. Wasn't my original. I wasn't the one that asked the question. Let me put it that way. But again, it struck me. It's important. Why? Because it is two different things. Some people are moved by heart. Some people are moved by head. So, because my question to that person was, if your heart says yes and your mind says no, which one wins? Or vice versa. You know, mind says yes, heart says no. It's a question of who you are. And then the thinking, they're two different thinkings. And so I guess that's, and you know, and which one gets swayed by the other? And you know, so here's part of the question. Let's wake up a little. I mean, I guess let's wake ourselves up. It's about an awakening, and one definitely influences the other. One drives the other. But again, some people float around by emotion. Well, of course, some people never think, and so they're always driven by emotion, by what everyone else here tells them, and they shut their minds off. But I don't think they explored that relationship at all. So that was my biggest flaw with, and so there's my flaw. I'm sorry, it's just me. But anyway, so the reaction was extremely valid. Actually says quite a bit to how people think. Someone makes a question, challenges a belief even in the law. So what's the reaction? What should reaction be? If you're watching this, what is your reaction? And if it is, I'm going to regurgitate what I was told, the question becomes, did you think? Have you already worked your way through this problem? Have you addressed it? Have you thought? Did it ever occur to you? And the way that you react says so much. A knee-jerk reaction of "you're wrong" means you don't think, and you hate to say it, but it's the truth. I had for a long time I had this thing. The safest thing to do was say no. It's the safest thing to do. I want this. No. No. I want to do no. And then I would go home and I'd think about it, because it was easier. People don't believe you when you say, "I'll think about it." Yeah, right. You'll think about it. Everyone says they'll think about it. I tell my kids I'll think about it. They go and say, "Daddy said no." But that's not what I said. I said, think about it. Now, 98% of people won't think about it. They'll be done. They'll wash their hands, they'll walk away, and never think again. Rather die than think. But anyway, it raises some interesting points that I'm not going to tell you the answer for. But you can't stop me from asking. So if you're, let's say, you're enlightened. If you're a 2%er, and you're being led by a 3%er, a 95%, you're being led by the 98%. What do? Do you manipulate the situation from your 2% because you're thinking? Do you try and help them? Sometimes is there a way to help them? The 3%ers are the backbreakers. Sometimes, I should say most of the time, they're so convinced that they think. There's no convincing them that they don't think. Wow, yeah, it's tough. But anyway, I mean, so what if some people manipulate the situation? What if you're wrong? And I guess that's the thing. Are you standing in their shoes? Are you really thinking? I took many classes. I took a class where we studied Descartes. I think, therefore I am. I find Descartes to be horribly close-minded. Well, I know. Sounds silly. He's one of the greatest thinkers of our time, right? Not necessarily. Actually, as we studied him, he took a premise that he wanted to end up with. If you read his book, he says, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to end there. But I'm going to let my mind wander. Really? If you gave the answer the same time you gave the problem, does it matter the path you took? You already defined A and B. Can you truly be independent and objective if you already know the answer you're going to come to? It's pretty tough. And actually, I was able, through this series of lessons, but anyway, there was one day in particular, there was a lesson, and he said, the TA said, these things Descartes uses to argue that therefore this exists. A, B, C, D, therefore E. And so the challenge was, what do you think? So I raised my hand immediately. It struck me. It was easy. A, B, C, D equals F. A, B, C, D equals G equals H, I, J equals anything I wanted to equal. Descartes manipulated to get E. I concluded, therefore, everything. To me, it was flawed. I admire what he tried to do. Actually, I admired the advances he made in mathematics and logic and he's done great work. However, I think that when it came to a specific thing, his idea, well, he wanted to come to conclusions about God and other things. He wasn't truly willing to shake the foundation. He wanted to convince you that he was shaking the foundations and getting to where you needed to be. And I can't say that that was necessarily the right thing to do. I understand what he was trying to do, but I don't know if he necessarily did the right thing.